I have sent a lot of justifiable flack the way of the person you're seeing on screen there, which is Fox News's reporter Peter Doocy. There have been a bunch of times where he's asked ridiculous questions, as you'd expect from a Fox News reporter. But in recent days, something really interesting has been happening. He's been actually doing reporter stuff. He's actually asked some good questions, which I think takes Trump and his press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, by surprise when it's coming from a Fox reporter. And in a sense, that makes it even better because it catches them off guard. And so while I guess I'm sort of crediting him with just doing his job, so in that sense, there's not credit, I do credit Doocy for asking some good questions. And I want to go through a few examples of him as of recently. I think that the craziness of the Trump term so far is causing him to think, I can't be on the record just being the softball guy with this administration, because it might go down as a truly disastrous administration. So I at least need to be on the record asking some strong questions. The first one came yesterday with Trump's ridiculous photo op at the White House where he sold or did a PR stunt for Tesla because of Tesla stock going down. And this imagery, as people are hurting, and what Doocy's going to reference, you'll hear, is people are watching their retirement accounts plummet because of Trump's actions. And so is it the right imagery that as people are economically concerned, you're out there buying an expensive car to help boost your billionaire friend's stock? And that billionaire friend happens to have a bunch of governmental control and happens to have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in you getting elected, and you're doing it out in front of the White House? What do you say to people who don't like that contradiction?
Buying a new car, while there are some folks who will see this clip at home and they are struggling with their retirement accounts down at the moment, uncertainty about work ahead.
Well, I think they're going to do great. I think our country had to do this. We had to go and do this. They've taken away, other countries have taken away our business. They've taken away our jobs. I did it initially very strongly against, as you know, China and some others in the first term. And it was a very successful term. We had no inflation. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And then we had COVID, which we had to straighten out.
So again, this is him just doing his job, which is only unexpected because he's a Fox reporter. But that question does demonstrate, and then Trump's answer bolsters the demonstration of how these values, these priorities are so flawed. You're spending time trying to help this billionaire's stock and his company as people are hurting because you don't understand how to properly implement economic policy. What do you say to that split screen not being something that people love? And then it's not just Trump he's directed some better questions at. You also have Caroline Leavitt here being asked about a similar topic.
So you said that the Dow dropping and dropping and dropping is a period of transition. You're sure nobody here at the White House shorted the Dow?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. But is there any concern here that it's going to be harder to ask certain federal workers to retire if they look at their retirement accounts and they're getting robbed every day?
Well, I'm glad you brought up workers, because that's exactly who President Trump is looking out for with his America First trade policy and his America First economic agenda. And if you look at, there's great indication to be optimistic about where the economy stands, and the American people, investors, CEOs, small business owners, but most importantly, workers should.
So then again, not answering the question. Which I know that the MAGA accounts do not perceive it that way. Leavitt just dominated is always how they frame. But she didn't really give a thoughtful answer. They keep all doing the same thing. You heard Trump do it. Oh, no, it's going to be great. We have to. Yeah, but why? Oh, because it's going to be great. But how's it going to be great? Because it's something we have to do. Okay, something we have to do and it's going to be great. But why and how? Because golden age of America, baby. I mean, come on. Okay, well, I'm not clear still on my question. Then you have this on the disastrous Oval Office debacle.
At this podium.
We know that some officials here were miffed that Zelensky showed up last week without a suit for his meeting in the Oval Office. But Elon Musk never wears a suit.
He did last night.
So what is the dress code?
Well, Elon Musk wore a suit last night. I'm sure you saw it.
Was he spooked by Zelensky getting kicked out?
No, I don't think so. I'm just pointing out that he did wear a suit last night. And I think the president liked that very much.
Another fair question. You made a whole deal of his outfit, Zelensky's outfit, not being to your liking, but your co-president doesn't wear a suit in the Oval Office. And your co-president, Elon, is not the one fighting a war. And when Churchill visited the White House during World War II, he also didn't wear a suit. And then, separate from challenging them, Peter Doocy had this to say.
This is a White House that came in trying to get federal workers to retire by the hundreds of thousands. But it's tough to make the argument that you should retire if your retirement accounts are getting throttled, which is what is happening right now.
And those are some good descriptions. Throttled, rocked, he says. So I think we're just moments away from an angry True Social post from Trump, where he rages about how Fox News, they're so terrible now. Doocy's always trying to sabotage. They no longer love America. He's flipped back and forth on if he likes Fox News about 100 times in the last decade. Whenever he gets embarrassed by Fox, he then hates them and they're not pro-Trump enough. Actually, there was a report that came out about how Hannity went to Trump privately and said, can you please stop raging against us? Say you like us. We'll be really nice. And it's a sad state of affairs. But credit for doing the job that he should do to Doocy on that. I hope he keeps doing it. On the Tesla stunt, though, remember that now Trump's trying to support Tesla because of Elon Musk. Remember that he used to post stuff like this. Merry Christmas to all, including crooked Joe Biden's only hope, deranged Jack Smith, the out-of-control lunatic who just hired outside attorneys fresh from the swamp to help him with his poorly executed witch hunt against Trump, in quotes, for some reason, and MAGA, in quotes, for some reason. Included also are world leaders, both good and bad, but none of which are as evil and sick as the thugs we have inside our country, who with their open borders, inflation, Afghanistan surrender, Green New Scam, high taxes, no energy independence, woke military, Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, all electric car lunacy, and so much more. Electric car lunacy, again, and are looking to destroy our once great USA. May they rot in hell. Excuse me. Again, Merry Christmas. Because, of course, as you know, the second only to Merry Christmas, most commonly the phrase used on Christmas is, may you rot in hell. I think I remember that being at Christmas parties. Mwah, mwah, Merry Christmas, rot in hell. Yeah. Which, by the way, what a phrase. Do you know what I mean? I know it's something people use, rot in hell. Think about that. For whatever wrongs they believe that you've done, they're wishing that you spend eternity, which is unfathomable, in utter torture. Quite the proclamation. But that he said about the all-electric car lunacy. And now he's hawking the Teslas. He also posted, when Elon Musk came to the White House asking me for help on all of his many subsidized projects, true, whether it's electric cars that don't drive long enough, driverless cars that crash, or rocket ships to nowhere, without which subsidies he'd be worthless, and telling me how he was a big Trump fan, a Republican, I could have said, drop to your knees and beg, and he would have done it. Yeah. He used to say that about Elon Musk and his electric cars. And now he's literally reading talking points about how great Teslas are. And for our podcast listeners, I'm showing on screen a photograph Aaron Rupar flagged, where you can see the papers that Trump is holding, jotted down notes on the specs of Teslas so he can advertise them. And this was what our White House was turned into. A Tesla dealership. Truly embarrassing. All this, remember, with this context in mind.
So, Anderson, Teddy Schleifer and I reported that Elon Musk has signaled to Trump's advisors that he wants to direct $100 million into Trump-controlled political entities. Now, that's different than what he has done in the past. In the past, he has funded a lot of political support for Donald Trump. It's, I believe more than $300 million in the past through his own PAC called America PAC. This would be something very different. It would be giving it to entities that are controlled by the Trump team, and it would be a different kind of approach. Now, all of this is happening.
So Biden pushes for the firing of a corrupt prosecutor in Ukraine in alignment with our European allies' interests, the official U.S. government stance on Shokin, and his mandate to uproot corruption in Ukraine. And Burisma, where Hunter sat on the board, actually secretly wanted Shokin to stay in place, but Biden pushed for his firing anyways. And that was proof that Joe Biden was corrupt to help Hunter Biden's business interests. But Trump is getting a new round of hundreds of millions of dollars sent to him by Elon Musk, and he turns the White House into a Tesla dealership, and that's not corruption to MAGA. Something seems off about that. Something seems a little wrong.
Let's get downloaded as well. You can thump your music.
You can do it. I just looked at it. I looked at that dashboard. You can do anything.
Mr. President, you buying a Tesla will boost Tesla sales and boost
Well, I
their
hope
stock?
it does. Look.
Was that your goal?
I care
by doing
about
this?
one thing. When somebody's a great patriot, they shouldn't be hurt. He's a great patriot.
What makes him a great patriot? Does it have a dollar sign anywhere in it? Because I think that it does. Now, this right-wing, ridiculous, disgusting account titled End Wokeness posted this. I can't find a single Democrat in office that has condemned the escalating attacks on Tesla. And it photographs photos. In the interest of full fairness, there are photographs of people vandalizing Teslas. Let me just say, this is not the proper recourse. I condemn wholeheartedly as my pencil has flown out of my hand. So it's really pretty simple. Don't do that. Don't vandalize. Don't do property damage. And also, I'm not going to allow them to facilitate a narrative that this means the criticism of Elon is wrong. Those things can be separate. We can be opposed to this and understand that maybe even not wanting to buy Teslas is a reasonable recourse given Elon's actions than this.
I'm just telling people, this man is a great patriot, and you should cherish him. You should cherish him. I have a little statement. We have to take care of our high IQ people because we don't have too many of them.
Mr. President,
And we got to take.
What is this? This is the most America-hating movement I've ever seen. First, it's Make America Great Again, so necessarily, definitionally, we're not great in their mind. And then it's, we have to cherish our high IQ Americans because we don't have many of them. Despite us being the most innovative, the most prosperous, the most blah, 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 et cetera, society in the history of human existence, we're a bunch of dummies. Now, do we have a lot of dummies? I don't know. I'll leave that to you. But we have plenty of smart people, and I want to cherish all people. All people. But it's such an interesting, a casual, I go to these rallies, and I talk to people, and I go, wow. I said, wow, they're so stupid. It seems every person I talk to, at least at my own rallies, wow, they're so stupid. So I meet Elon. They call him Rocket Man. Yeah, you get the point. Share your thoughts in the comments.